Okay, the whole kit has been painted with the Vallejo Dunkelgelb surface primer, and I gave it a clear coat of Future on all the parts. So I'm going to start running a wash on it. And as you can see, there's no camo on it yet, and the reason being is I'm going to do a wash on the inside parts where there's not going to be any camouflage paint, and then once I get the wash and some of the weathering done on the inside, I'll put the side skirts, the turret skirts, and everything together, and then I can spray the camouflage on it. So the wash I'm going to use is one I just recently saw at Hobby Lobby, and it was cheap, so I thought I'd give it a try. It's this Testors Create FX enamel stain, and I figured I'd give this a try. The first one I'm going to use is black, and I got two colors. I got the black and I got the mud stain. So I'm going to give these a try and see how they work. So I'm going to test them a little bit, and then I'll come back. Okay, the vehicle was primed, and using the Tamiya Dunkelgelb, and then I use the Vallejo, a couple of Vallejo colors to do the camo scheme. And I'd forgotten, but I had put the clear coat on the tank before I put the camo scheme on it. So I did the camo scheme, and then I put another clear coat on it, so that's ready to go. And I used the Vallejo Model Air, and you know, it worked pretty good. I think even though it is Model Air, I'm going to have to thin it a little bit more to make it a little bit easier, especially on my Badger airbrush, because it's got a pretty small tip on it. When I use my single action to put the primary color on, or primer, I use a 0.3, and I even have a 0.5 for that one, and that one sprays like a champ. But I had a little bit of clogging and so forth with the Badger with the smaller tip on it. So I'll have to experiment on it a bit with that. But as you can see, this is the side skirt with the battle damage. It actually goes this way. This would be the top, and this would be the bottom. And it turned out okay. I mean, my camo scheme's like, meh, it's okay. But, you know, they were never perfect out in the field, so we're just going to go with that. So anyway, the camo scheme is applied, and now I am going to I'm going to go ahead, and I've started on the tracks. I primed these and put the rust layer on. Again, using on this I used the Tamiya, and I'm not going to tilt it over because I keep my lids clean, but the Tamiya Model Master acrylics. That is what I'm using for the rust on the tracks. And I think as I deplete my Vallejo colors, I'm going to be switching over to the Model Master acrylic, because it's really super consistent. I mean, with the Model Air, one bottle can be pretty thin, spray it right from the bottle, you know, out of the same package, because they all came in one kit. It can be twice as thick. It needs to be thin. So the inconsistency of Vallejo Model Air is really troubling to me, and has been a source of problems from time to time. You know, and it's workable. It's just a matter of making sure it's thinned out properly and stuff. But I don't know, it's just kind of a pain. However, all the colors I've used of the Model Master acrylic have been pretty much the same consistency. Spray them right out of the bottle. So I may be switching over to that brand, but anyway, that's what I use for the tracks to put the rust layer. I need to next, I will kind of mask it off and do the bare metal on the inside of the track, and then I'll install those. Once I get those installed, then I can put the side skirts, I can install those, and then apply the decals, do the detail painting, and begin weathering. So for right now, I'm going to finish up painting these. I'm going to do the bare metal on them, get that ready. As that's drying, in between coats, I'm going to be gluing the side skirts on and getting that ready for decals and weathering. Now, one thing I want to note is one thing that just drives me insane is having to scrape paint. So what I do when I am painting something like this, something that's going to be installed later, the contact points I mask and just spray right over them. That way when I peel the paint up or peel the tape up, I've got nice bare plastic right there to connect right here, and then right here, which connects right here. Because I don't like to try and scrape the paint, because I never can seem to just get it scraped off good enough without really messing it up and having to touch up. This way I get a nice clean bare plastic, so I can put this on there and have it cemented, and it stays really solid. Don't have to worry about it coming apart. So that's what I'm going to do next, and then I will come back and get cracking on the decals. Okay, so the plan was to get the side skirts and tracks and everything on, and the other night after my last video segment, I got busy on that. As you noticed, or as you may remember, I put little bits of masking tape at the cement points, place where the parts are going to be glued, so I don't have to worry about scraping paint or worrying about the cement, you know, penetrating the paint and welding the parts together. I don't like doing that, so I take just a very small amount of extra time and put the tape on there. So I remove the tape, you know, test fit again, everything lined up perfectly. Got some tape to hold the upper portions in place, as I used bottles and stuff to hold the lower mounting points in place, and then, you know, applied my cement, got it all done, let it dry, cure, whatever you want to call it. Stoked, everything's looking good, and I just haven't removed the tape yet, but everything's on there nice and solid. So the morning after I did that, and this is a lesson to all, but the morning after I did this, I was outside and I came back through, and as I walked by my desk, I looked and I thought, boy, that's going to be cool. And then I thought, oh, junk. I forgot to do something pretty important. And what would that be? That would be installing the tracks before I put the side skirts on. So, yeah, not very smart, but I monkeyed around with it, and I will be able to install. I almost installed one side, and then, you know, I didn't want to install it all until, you know, I did a little bit more detail painting on the tracks and on the running gear. But anyway, that's all I have to do next is put the tracks on, just make sure everything stays tight here, and then I can move on to the weathering process. I can do the decals, then I can start chipping and weathering. But this little segment here is just a reminder. Make sure you think things through, and don't do things when you're tired, because you'll miss stuff like putting on the tracks before I put the side skirts on. It's going to be a little more difficult, but it's doable. So anyway, that's it for this section. So I'm going to start putting the I'll put the tracks on, and then I'll start applying the decals. Alright, so I got the tracks put on with the side skirts. So next up is the decals, and as you can see, there's two full sets of decals. There's ones that are all nice and crisp and clean, and then there's some that are pre-weathered. It looks as if the paint's been scuffed up, and you know, just from use and abuse. Let's see if I can zoom it in a little bit here and let you see. Yeah, as you can see here, it's kind of scuffed up. The numbers are all hacked and scratched. And those are the ones I'm going to use because, you know, it's a tank. It's seen battle. And I think it'll just look pretty cool. And I think it's awesome that they give you these two sets. So that is what I'm going to use. And the first one I'm going to install is the Balkan Kreuz that goes on the back right here. And I'll just do a quick rundown of what I use, but I'm doing the 12th SS Panzer Normandy 1944. Those are the markings I'm using because that's kind of the color scheme I went with. So I'm going with that. And the first decal is number 5. And again, for you more advanced people, this is real basic information, but for beginner people, this might be helpful. So I'm just going to cut this baby out right here. And the film is really close to the decal, so I don't have to worry about trimming it really super close like is necessary on some decals. And I'll just drop that in my water, let that soak for a few minutes. And what I'm going to use is this. That's what I usually use. This decal set by Testers. Put some of that on first, and then after I get the decal in place, then I'll use this ancient bottle of Solvacet. I've had this bottle for, oh, I don't know, forever, and I've barely used any because it doesn't take very much. So I'll check the decal here and see if it's ready to nope, not yet. So let it go for a few more seconds. And with this Zimmerit texture on the back, it'll be kind of interesting. I haven't done it in a long time on something that rough. But if all goes as it has in the past, this Solvacet will snuggle that decal right down in all that Zimmerit and make it look like it's, you know, supposed to be there as opposed to just being right on top. Something else I do is I always keep a napkin handy to, yeah, there we go. Okay, so this one goes, whoops, I should be using my other tweezers that stay closed automatically. Put some of the decal set from Testers on there first. And drop that baby on there. Kind of smash into place, and these are pretty thick, so I can move them even with the tweezers. Get it all lined up thusly. All right, so that's on there. And the nice thing about the Solvacet is it has a built-in brush. Now, if there's any puddled up of water and the decal set, I would use the corner of a napkin to kind of clean that off, but it's not necessary in this case. So then I just liberally brush some of this on here like that, and then I'll let it sit and see how it looks, and I'll go ahead and continue on with the rest of the decals. Won't bore you with that, and come back once I get all those installed. Alright, I've got all the decals on, and as you can see right here, let's see if I can zoom this in a bit. You can see that the Solvaset did its job. These decals are totally settled down in this rough Zimmerit pattern. They turned out really nice. Solvaset really does wonders. Settled in really good on the turret. You can see that it's snuggled down around those rivets, because when I first put the decals on, the decal was kind of tinted up on those rivets, and just after a couple of applications of the Solvaset, it just molded them right over them. There's a little bit of water and Solvaset staining here. That'll wipe off with water, and they turned out really good. So with the decals done, now all I have to do is start the weathering. So I'm going to end this video with the decals. Next video I will begin with the detail painting. I've got to paint the machine gun, the tools, then I'll start working on the weathering. So that's it for this time. Thanks for watching Plastic Models by a Regular Dude, and I'll see you in the next episode.